Morning everybody. It's Wednesday this morning and middle of the week again, and I think we have had rain during the night, although it certainly is dry at the minute, so I think it's a bit much cooler this morning, and hopefully the rain will be during the night and we'll get a dry day today, but I'm not so sure. At least we didn't get the threatened thunder and lightning that we were promised yesterday evening. I don't know whether that's still under threat to come, but certainly yesterday was probably one of the loveliest evenings we've had for a while. So I don't know what happened to the BBC weather app, who said if you checked it had been raining here from 4 o'clock, and it certainly wasn't. So I hope everybody's doing okay. It's Wednesday today, so we have the West Kirk Weekly this evening. If anybody has anything they would like me to add to that anytime, just let me know. People do ask for prayers for people, which I always try and remember to put on, but also I do try and share if there's been any correspondence with Presbytery that I think they want people to hear about, or from Church of Scotland in Edinburgh, again, if it's something they want people to hear about or maybe to join in with. So do try it and share anything that I think people might be interested in there. So I don't think we've got much planned today. In fact, I don't think we've really got anything planned today, so I think we might take a wee run out somewhere and have our lunch, and that will probably be it for us today. We have been a wee bit busy running about with some wee jobs here and there. We still have some wee jobs for the rest of the week, but I don't think there's anything really on today. Oh, Bill's got his talk newspaper again. He's got that to do today. So we've been reading the story of Daniel. We're on Daniel chapter 2, and it's the second half. And yesterday we heard that Daniel was going to speak to the king and tell him what his dream was about. So this part, chapter 2 verse 24, starts with Daniel tells the king the dream and explains it. So Daniel went to Arioch, whom the king had commanded to execute the royal advisers. He said to him, "Don't put them to death. Take me to the king, and I will tell him what his dream means." At once Arioch took Daniel into King Nebuchadnezzar's presence and told the king, "I have found one of the Jewish exiles who can tell your majesty the meaning of your dream." The king said to Daniel, "Can you tell me what I dreamed and what it means?" Daniel replied, "Your majesty, there is no wizard, magician, fortune teller or astrologer who can tell you that, but there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries. He has informed your majesty what will happen in the future. Now I will tell you the dream, the vision you had while you were asleep. While your majesty was sleeping, you dreamed about the future, and God, who reveals mysteries, showed you what is going to happen. Now this mystery was revealed to me, not because I am wiser than anyone else, but so that your majesty may learn the meaning of your dream and understand the thoughts that have come to you. Your majesty, in your vision, you saw standing before you a giant statue, bright and shining and terrifying to look at. Its head was made of the finest gold, its chest and arms were made of silver, its waist and hips of bronze, its legs of iron, and its feet partly of iron and partly of clay. While you were looking at it, a great stone broke loose from a cliff without anyone touching it, struck the iron and clay feet of the statue and shattered them. At once the iron, clay, bronze, silver and gold crumbled and became like the dust on a threshing place in summer. The wind carried it all away, leaving not a trace, but the stone grew to be a mountain that covered the whole earth. This was the dream. Now I will tell your majesty what it means. Your majesty, you are the greatest of all kings. The God of heaven has made you emperor and given you power, might and honour. He has made you ruler of all the inhabited earth and ruler over all the animals and birds. You are the head of gold. After you there will be another empire, not as great as yours, and after that a third, an empire of bronze which will rule the earth. And then there will be a fourth empire as strong as iron, which shatters and breaks everything. And just as iron shatters everything, it will shatter and crush all the earlier empires. You also saw that the feet and the toes were partly clay and partly iron. This means that it will be a divided empire. It will have something of the strength of iron because there was iron mixed with the clay. The toes, partly iron and partly clay, mean that that part of the empire will be strong and part of it weak. You also saw that the iron was mixed with the clay. This means that the rulers of that empire will try to unite their families by intermarriage, but they will not be able to any more than iron can mix with clay. At that time of those rulers, the God of heaven will establish a kingdom that will never end. It will never be conquered, but will completely destroy all those empires and then last forever. You saw how a stone broke loose from a cliff without anyone touching it, and how it struck the statue, made of iron, bronze, clay, silver and gold. The great God is telling your majesty what will happen in the future. I have told you exactly what you dreamed and have given you its true meaning. Then King Nebuchadnezzar bowed to the ground and gave orders for sacrifices and offerings to be made to Daniel. The king said, "Your God is the greatest of all gods, the Lord over kings and the one who reveals mysteries. I know this because you have been able to explain this mystery." Then he gave Daniel a high position, presented him with many splendid gifts, put him in charge of the province of Babylon, and made him the head of all the royal advisers. At Daniel's request, the king put Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego in charge of the affairs of the province of Babylon. Daniel, however, remained at the royal court. Amen, and God bless this reading from Daniel chapter 2, and we will continue with the story of Daniel tomorrow. So take care everybody, look after yourselves, you know where we are, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye.